There's no like straight line into telling you like you go A, B, C, and then you get the funding. It is a matter as, for example, and it depends at what level you're at when we're talking about funding. But at any stage in your career, it's about showing up, going and having the screen here and a screen there, and being part of different network groups and supporting others' work, so that you create that curiosity within the world that you live in and your network, your environment, and then you then get that opportunity. Nalip stands for the National Association of Latino Independent Producers. This is an opportunity that I'm very thankful, because I strongly believe that our community is incredibly talented and it must have a space, and the space is given by professionalism and excellence, which we already have. So
Hi, Diana. How are you today? Thank you for your time.
hi, Jackie. Happy to be here.
I don't wanna. Yeah, Diana, could you share with us what Nalip is?
Absolutely. So, Nalip stands for the National Association of Latino Independent Producers. And Nalip basically encompass all talent, and behind and in front of the scene folks that we support within the Latino community. Our mission is to give them voice, visibility, and support to advance their careers, and most important, for us to amplify representation in the entertainment industry.
Diana, how did you receive the invitation to be the executive director?
Yes, that's a great question. Well, at the time, I was leading also the Tomorrow's Filmmakers Today program, a small program that was run through Hola Mexico Film Festival. So I've been doing this for many, many years, supporting emerging filmmakers to have a career. But all throughout my life, I've been working in the creative sector, again, finding opportunities to professionalize your creativity. So basically, that's what I've been doing all throughout. So they found me. And this is an opportunity that I'm very thankful, because I strongly believe that our community is incredibly talented and it must have a space. And the space is given by professionalism and excellence, which we already have. So I'm really looking forward for the upcoming years.
I think that Diana, I think you are a visionary and a great entrepreneur. My apologies for the pronunciation. But and
Yeah.
you're always looking to support creators. So I would like to know where is the motivation come from, and yeah, and your love for art.
Yeah. So actually, I believe that it's an incredible connection between, I mean, in this world with the executive path and the creativity. And it comes all the way from, I guess, childhood, because I always been, I mean, I was raised by a very creative dad, sculptor, painter, loved music, and my mom, a total entrepreneur. So that combination always captivated me, because at the end, when we have this artistic mind, we're very focused on our craft, and we're not necessarily thinking into how to gain the visibility. And so I was just lucky enough that throughout my career, I've been having that opportunity to connect those two into how do you find the tools, the resources, the doors for these creative minds that might not be necessarily focused on that. And most important, and now that I see it with filmmakers, into how do you create those connections? And if one is lacking of the other and the other again, there's no well, this is when we get all these problems into not gaining the representation that you need, the access that you need. So yeah, I mean, the passion comes from very early into understanding that how important is to tell your story as a human, and because that's who we are. That's what makes us who we are. So I love this path.
Thank you for sharing. And in another interview, you mentioned something about office hours that Nalip provide.
Yes.
Could you explain to us what did that mean?
Yes. So Nalip, we are a resource for our members, and as a resource for our members. And now that we've been, I mean, we have a new team and new initiatives. I thought that it was very important to bring back our members. After the pandemic and all the changes that we have been through, our members were a little bit spread out and not really understanding into how Nalip could help them. So we thought, well, might as well just open this direct line, not necessarily a phone, but a Zoom. Nowadays, Zoom, otherwise it would have been a phone. But it was about just called us and talked about what is your concerns, what are you confused about, if you want to find out about other opportunities, and everything goes. And if we don't know, we will find out for you, so that you actually understand that we have a community that is supporting you, that has your back. Because in this world of entertainment, sometimes you can have that sense of isolation and not necessarily knowing how to ask the question or who to ask. So I found office hours as this opportunity to reconnect, and we've been incredibly successful. I mean, all our slots are full all weeks, for weeks, and the calls, they don't stop. But we feel very fortunate to know that our community comes together, and in the hopes that the questions are being answered.
That's beautiful. I like that because yes, as you mentioned, filmmakers sometimes when you're writing or whatever, you are stuck and you need to share your ideas with someone else, and it will
Mhm.
be this is an amazing opportunity for everyone out there to find guidance because me as a person that moved to this city without knowing anybody, this is an amazing opportunity for our listeners. And Diana, in your opinion, how can Latino filmmakers can find funding, and what kind of stories the executives are looking for from Latinos creators?
Mhm. So, in terms of the stories, that's a very good question. I think that there is not that they're looking for specific stories. They're looking for good stories. And I think that also that surge, sometimes we were trapped into, they might be looking for the Latino story, but the Latino story is a universal story. And that one that touches everybody's heart. And just when you see that experience, you're never thinking, oh, this is, um, I don't know, Asian story. You just get moved by it. And I think that's what we always have to keep in mind, that what we want to highlight is the craft and how well we position ourselves with that story. For instance, if the latest hits that we have had for our Latino community, yes, they are permeated of who we are, like Blue Beat or Flaming Hot, but they are just good, well put together stories with incredible teams, with very well thought through in terms of how that they narrate the story. So it doesn't matter who watches it, you're gonna find a moment when you identify, and then it happens to be Latinos in the story. So I think we always gotta be thinking about that. And in terms of the funding, that is also a question that we get constantly, right? Because it's like the mystery of how do you get there? And I think that how do you get there and find that magic funding? It goes through a lot of exposure. There's no like straight line into telling you like you go A, B, C, and then you get the funding. It is a matter as, for example, and it depends at what level you're at when we're talking about funding. But at any stage in your career, it's about showing up, going and having the screen here and a screen there, and being part of different network groups and supporting others' work, so that you create that curiosity within the world that you live in and your network, your environment, and then you then get that opportunity. So I think the more that you are out there, the more that you are bugging everybody, the better. I'm all about that, and having that group, that network, that group of friends that are gonna have your back. I think that's the route. There's no formula, but that's the way to do it.
Thank you for sharing, and that's a great tip for our listeners. Like, yeah, networking, and I know Nalip creates a lot of mixers for filmmakers, so
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be a great opportunity. And before we go, any excited events that you would like to share with us?
Yes. So for our members, as we're talking about networking, more than networking, I believe in the power of friendship. And the power of friendship comes from admiring the work that you do and you are admiring the work that I do. So that the next time that there is an opportunity or a project, I know I will call my friend because I love what she does, I love what they do, and then you really create that force. And our goal at Nalip is to create those strong friendships amongst our community, not only within filmmakers but also with executives. So this year, I mean, it was a year full of challenges and incredible projects that were on the screen and on the streaming, and we want to celebrate that. So we're coming together with our members to celebrate excellence because that's what we have within our community, and we have to highlight the fact that excellence it's what really categorizes of who we are, and that's what we're celebrating. We'll have a talent, a performance, etc., so that we can really highlight all the big hits throughout this year, from Blue Beetle, Flaming Hot, Radical, um, and so many more that we have, Cassandro, Lopez versus
Mm.
Lopez. So everybody will have a moment just to toast and to acknowledge the great successes that we had this year.
Great stories, all of them. And I would love to continue talking to you, Diana, but I know you are busy and there's a schedule here. Thank you so much for your time and for
Thank you,
sharing this.
Jackie.
And thank you everyone from the team behind.